Good evening everyone. This is Prelims Haste program and this is going to be your one-stop solution to crack prelims. As we know, the prelims has been postponed and we are going to utilize this time effectively in order to clear this prelims. And we'll be discussing series of 100 important topics across subjects. It may be geography, polity, environment, economy also. And this class will be dedicated for geography and this is going to be a class 1. We'll directly jump into the question. The first question is regarding basic understanding, basic geography. Consider the following statement about the concept of sea floor spreading. While answering a question, it's important that you underline the important terms so that you don't miss it out. Here the important point is concept of sea floor spreading. I'm going off the screen, sorry. Okay, the concept was proposed by Alfred Wegener. Okay, statement 2, quake foci in mid-oceanic ridge across areas have shallow depths is one of the evidence of the theory. What I can see here is the first statement is a factual question and second is a conceptual statement. So they have combined two, a factual statement with conceptual statement. This becomes really important in answering the question. We should have factual base and conceptual base also. And next thing is they have asked what are correct. We have to make sure that they haven't asked what is incorrect. So these are the important things which we should note while answering a question. Okay. Now moving into answering the question, I'll clear my screen now. Okay. The concept was proposed by Alfred Wegener. I don't think so, but it was Henry Hess. Okay. So the statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2, quake foci in mid-oceanic ridge areas have shallow depths is one of the evidence of this theory. There are many evidence of seafloor spreading and this is going to be one of the evidence. Okay, this statement is right. By elimination, we can eliminate option A and option C. Option 2 and neither 1 or 2 only is left, but we know option 2 is right. So answer is going to be option 2, only 2. We'll see the explanation now. Answer is B, only 2. As I said earlier, concept was proposed by Henry Hess. Alfred Wegener actually proposed one concept. Its name was continental drift theory, also known as CDT, and not seafloor spreading. What actually is seafloor spreading? Okay, it is actually, this happens in divergent boundary. We know there are three types of boundaries. Three boundary. One is convergent, second one is divergent, third one is transform boundary. Convergent boundary, we know there will be mountain formation like Himalayas. Divergent boundary, what is known as sea floor spreading. Okay, transform boundary, one of the best example is California, where there is friction between plates. Okay, coming to this divergent boundary, also known as sea floor spreading, what actually happens is, I'll change my marker color. Okay, what actually happens is there is magma which is coming out of the inner core from the asthenosphere to be exactly. There will be magma which is coming out to the outer area crust. And this gets solidifies over this area and this is what actually known as sea floor spread. Actually what happens is there is more volume which is coming out of the volume magma which is coming out of the asthenosphere and flowing out. It is being considered to be as divergence and there is increase in area of sea floor. Okay, what are the evidences? All along the what are the other evidences of sea floor spreading? Okay, All along the mid-oceanic ridges, volcanic eruption are common. Yes, we know there is overflow of magma and there will also be overflow of volcanic eruption, and the rocks are equidistant on either side of the crust. They show similarities in formation, chemical, magnetic properties. Okay, what exactly happens is like when the magma flows out of the interior, they'll be spreading from one area to the another area evenly. As you can see, there is more amount of rocks that is getting deposited here, and they are getting solidified. So these are, since they occur in same geological time, they do have similar magnetic properties. Rocks that solidify at same geological time obviously have same magnetic properties because they align to the poles of that time. Okay, the oceanic rocks are much younger than continental rocks. Since these rocks are new to the surface, they are obviously very young. This is a statement which is already given in the question. Quark foci in mid-oceanic ridges areas have shallow depths, unlike earthquake along the trenches, because in this area the foci of earthquake are very shallow. We'll quickly move to the next question. Consider the following statement regarding tidal ranges. Okay, centrifugal force of Earth has no role in formation of tidal formation. Okay, the configuration of continents and ocean influence tidal ranges. Okay, as we can see, they have given incorrect and not correct. Okay, you should see it very perfectly. We will see how to answer this question. Okay, centrifugal force plays a very important role in the formation of tides, because there are two forces which actually help in tidal formation. One is gravitational force, second is centrifugal force. Only by the interplay of these forces what we get as tides. Okay, this is a basic theory. Okay, so statement 1 is wrong. Okay, statement 1 is wrong. What they have asked is incorrect. So statement 1 is wrong. The configuration of continents and oceans influence tidal ranges. Yes, they actually influence, because when there is a narrow passage, if water is flowing through this narrow passage, the tide will actually increase and not decrease. So it actually influences. So option 1 is only incorrect. So answer will be A, 1 only. We'll see this elaborately. What we see is option A. Centrifugal force of Earth has a major role in tidal formation. And we have the definitions here. A tide is a rise and fall of sea level. This will be really helpful in writing mains answer. You can code this definition directly. Okay, I'll show a diagram here. This is spring tide and this is neap tide. There are two tides. Spring tide is when the moon and the sun align to each other, and neap tide is when the moon and the sun are perpendicular to the earth, or perpendicular to each other. And we can see, as we know, in spring tide will be large, and during neap tide will be low. Okay, this is a basic difference. This has nothing to do with the question. The question was very simple, asking about the forces. I had given you only an extra answer, extra points to note down. Okay, we'll see the next question quickly. Okay, landslides. Landslides are frequent in India. We'll go by underlining the important points. With reference to landslides frequency in India, consider the following statement. This is going to be with respect to India alone. Landslides occur in Himalayas as they are made up of unconsolidated sediments, unconsolidated deposits. Okay, that can be an answer. The landslides frequently occur in Western Ghats because they are tectonically active. Okay, they have asked what is not correct. Western Ghats are actually tectonically stable. Okay, it is Himalayas which is tectonically active. We know Himalayas is growing day by day. Himalayas is tectonically active. This can also be solved by elimination technique. We'll go to the answer directly. Answer is B. Because the landslides frequently occur in Western Ghats as not they are tectonically active, because Himalayas are the thing which are tectonically active. This statement is wrong with respect to Western Ghats. We'll see the answer. The landslide occur in Western Ghats as the slopes are steeper and receive heavy rainfall. What we can understand from this thing is like, I'll go for a full screen mode, just a second. What we can understand with this is like, there are basically differences between Himalayas and Western Ghats, and we'll have to understand that difference very perfectly. We know Himalayas are unstable because they are tectonically active. They've been growing day by day. But with respect to Western Ghats, it is only due to the heavy monsoonal rainfall that is igniting the landslides in the Western Ghats region. That's the most important thing which we'll have to understand with respect to this question. Okay, we'll quickly jump into the next question. This question is very, very important. I'm telling you, there is a high possibility there will be question regarding this. Okay, the Meghalayan is the youngest geological period of Holocene age. Two important points. One is Meghalayan, youngest, three important points, and next is Holocene age. Okay, I'm going out of the screen. This Holocene age. Holocene interglacial period. Interglacial period began at the end of Pleistocene age. Okay, regarding this, take your NCERT Physical Geography class 11. This is going to be a first lesson in that topic. Okay, we know we can directly though, and this Meghalayan age is a current affair. Holocene interglacial thing is a factual book topic from your NCERT. Okay, they have asked about not correct. Statement 1 is right. Statement 2 is also right. Okay, answer is D, because both are right. Okay, I have the picture to show you the geological formation here. Okay, there are many geological ages. What we have to know is regarding the Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pliocene area, because this is a time when the Himalayas uplifted. And next is the Pleistocene age, which is the Ice Age. The cartoon animated film Ice Age was supposed to be filmed in this geological time. It is an animated series. And the Holocene is the age which we are living in. And they have regarded this age, present time, as Meghalayan age. This was a current affair. Okay, because one of the areas in Meghalaya has been the evidence of entire geological time. It has been preserving, this geological formation has been preserving entire time. So they have named after the state where they have found it. Okay, this is going to be an important question. Okay, there is also important point here. What is interglacial period? Interglacial period is a geological interval of warmer global average temperature lasting thousands of years. Simple. After the Pleistocene age, we have Holocene. So this is a glacial period and this is the interglacial. Likely that we'll have a glacial period coming out. Okay. Yes, I hope you have understood that. We have important points. You can read this in the PDF which we will be giving out. It is approximately began around 11,700 years ago. Rapid proliferation, growth and impacts of human beings worldwide. Okay, it is International Union of Geological Sciences split the Holocene epoch into, they have named this Meghalayan age. Okay, We'll quickly jump into the next question. The next question, important thing. Oceanic Nino Index is an indicator. Oceanic Nino Index is an indicator used to monitor El Nino Southern Oscillation only. Okay, there are three important things which you'll have to know. One is Oceanic Nino Index, one is ENSO, another is only. This only is a negator which you should completely look for. You have to attempt only if you are completely sure. Okay, I hope you understand. The second statement is going to be the Oceanic Nino Index is calculated by averaging sea surface temperature in North Pacific Ocean. I know ENSO is, they have given in the statement 1 itself, it's a southern oscillation. How it's going to be a phenomena in the North Pacific Ocean? It's never. Guys, don't think like questions like these won't come in UPSC. There have been instances where they have asked questions like this. Sometimes you can derive the answer from the statement itself. Don't please ignore such things. Okay, I'm going out of the screen. Yes, okay. Let's go and solve the answer. Oceanic Nino Index. I know statement 2 is definitely wrong. Okay, so this can't be answer, this can't be answer. So which of the following are correct? It should be either 1 or neither 1 or 2. Since only is a negator, I will take the risk of answering D. Okay. Okay, it's just by a gut feeling I'm doing this, but this may not happen every time. This is only one. I'll be using this only if I don't have enough marks to. After answering every known questions in the prelims, I'm just doing by gut feeling. Okay. What it happens to be, it happens to be a correct answer. Okay, this doesn't work always, but you can go with the tide. If there is only, if you are not completely sure about that answer, you can, and if you want to get marks to cross the one line, you can go with that. This Oceanic Nino Index is not only for ENSO but also to monitor La Nina. Okay, fine. In calculating the average sea surface temperature, so in Central East Pacific Ocean, okay, towards the western border of South America. So it is not in North Pacific Ocean, it's going to be Central East Pacific Ocean. Okay, and we have important points for Oceanic Nino Index here. It is obtained by averaging sea surface temperature. This is very, very important. Please note this point. Okay, we'll quickly jump to the next question. This is a factual question, and this is going to be a factual question from India. With reference to islands of India, consider the following statements. Okay, Andaman Nicobar separated by 10-degree channel. Okay, with basic understanding in UPSC and basic preparation, everyone would have known this. Andaman and Nicobar are separated by the 10-degree channel, which is 10-degree north latitude. Statement 1 is going to be right. The barren island is only active volcano. Everybody knows this. I know this is an easy take. Second question is statement is also right. Lakshadweep Island is entirely built by coral deposits. I am having a doubt here. What I know is Lakshadweep Island is a coral island. So can I take this risk? Of course, yes, I can take this because I know it's a coral island. There should be something which is going to make this statement right. So I'm going with option D. Okay, the answer is option D. All statements are right. There are few points given here with respect to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, we know barren islands. Regarding these islands, there is a special video in our playlist, IAS by Heart playlist. Please go and watch that. We have given an elaborative description about the important islands of India. Please go and watch that. Okay. Then we have described every point here in that video also. Please, it's only a 10-minute video. Please go and watch that. We'll jump to the next question. Which of the following statement are correct with respect to Delhi Ridge? Okay, I'm going off the screen. Which are with respect to Delhi Ridge? I know Delhi Ridge is a ridge, though I am not from Delhi. I know it's I have seen in my atlas there is a ridge in Delhi which is popularly known as Delhi Ridge. Okay, it is a water divide between Indus and Ganges. Okay, looking into the map of India, pardon me for the factual incorrect representation of the map. This is going to be Aravalli and this is going to be Delhi. They say it is an water divide between Indus and Ganges. I know Ganges flows here. I'll change the color. I know Ganges flows here and Indus flows here. So Delhi Ridge is what is here. It can be. This statement can be right. Okay. This statement can be right. This is by common sense. Okay. I may not be sure, but this can be right. It is further extension of Vindhya range. I perfectly know Vindhyan range is somewhere here. It's in the central India, though I may not be sure of the states along which it passes. I know it is somewhere around here. So I can safely mark this statement as wrong. Okay. So if I'm eliminating option 2, this is going to go, statement should be A. Okay. Answer is A. It is a northward extension of Aravalli range and not Vindhyas. Okay. We have given you further explanation regarding Delhi Ridge, also known as Potwar Plateau, acts as a water divide between Indus and Ganges basin. As we also know, these ridges contain good amount of vegetation, and it is also known as green lungs, protects Delhi from hot winds of Rajasthan. So here lies Delhi, and there is going to be a barrier here like the Himalayas for India. Hot winds from Rajasthan are protected. Okay, that's the basic concept. There is nothing much, and it is also responsible for hailing the Delhi as a world's second most rich bird capital. Okay, bird capital. Fine, that's it. Okay, what we have next? Consider the following pairs about hot weather season storms and their occurrence region. Okay, this is also a basic question. In the time of monsoon and Indian climate, we get this question often, and this has been given to test your factual base. Okay, mango shower Karnataka. Okay, blossom shower Kerala. Okay, northwest Assam. I know mango shower. Yes, Karnataka is known for good ripened mangoes during summer season, and all these are during pre-monsoon. Blossom shower, yes, they are used for coffee plantation. Northwest is in Assam. Yes, all are right. Okay, here we have given you brief description. Answer is D. Some famous local storms of hot weather season. Mango showers, yes, Kerala and coastal areas of Karnataka. They help in ripening of mangoes. Ripening of mangoes need heat, and this pre-monsoon shower kindles the heat. That's it, guys. That's going to be a simple thing, pre-monsoon shower. And northwesters, it's in the month of Vaisakhi. It's also known as Kalbaikshi. I don't want to waste time here. I'll quickly move. What we have next is Lu. Lu is a hot oppressing wind in the northern plains. Like we had earlier told, these winds protect some parts of Delhi. Some parts of Delhi are protected by the Delhi Ridge. We saw in the earlier question with this, but not entire Delhi is protected. It's only some part. Okay. What we have in the next question? Yes. Consider the following characteristics of monsoon. Again, an important question, because every year UPSC has some important thing regarding monsoon. Okay, this is going to be a thing which UPSC does, and these are going to be factual question. The formation of cyclonic depression may exist in monsoon and rainfall. This time there has been 3 cyclones during the monsoon time. Okay, 2 in the pre-monsoon and 1 in the monsoon time, and now there is also a depression that's brewing in Bay of Bengal. We know that, so this statement is directly right. Monsoon rain occurs in wet spells. Yes, wet spells in the sense there is a period of large spells with an interval. more rain with gap, interval. So they are known as wet spells. Okay. In monsoon season, weather is dry in North India. I don't guess so. When there is rain, it leads to cool temperature. It cannot be dry. This statement cannot be right. At first point itself, I can pick this statement is wrong. It shows declining trend in rainfall with increasing distance. Absolutely, because as you go inland, I'll just get it. As you go inland, monsoon loses their intensity and rainfall decreases. That's the reason where we know as Telangana Plateau, Latur in Maharashtra, this Madhya Pradesh along the Aravalli Indian region, we have less rainfall. This is very significant in India. We know the drought areas of India. This is a conceptual statement. So answer is going to be 3 is going to be wrong. Answer is going to be 1, 2, 4. Okay. And that's the explanation we have given here. Answer is going to be A. Only in retreating monsoon season weather is dry. They have inverted option. Guys, you should look for these clues in your options so that you can answer it very easily. Okay. Next, what we have is a factual question. This is a question in order to, this doesn't directly fall into geography, but yet we have given this question in order to make sure some kind of question occur related to that. Okay. Jaladoot initiative was launched to carry out message of water conservation in which state? Though I'm not be sure of this thing, I know Jaladoot is something is regarding water conservation. Okay, with the name I can spot it out, but I don't know which state. In this question, I cannot take risk. I may not be knowing it's Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh. I may not know. Though I know its meaning, I may not be sure. So I'm not going to attempt this question directly. I will rather look into the answer and tell you. The answer is A. Okay. It's Maharashtra. Okay, it's going to be Maharashtra. What the Ministry of Information Broadcasting in association with Maharashtra State Road Transportation Commission. You don't have to remember this thing. This question was included in order to make you aware that such a scheme exists in Maharashtra only to conservation of water. You can use this thing, topic or point in mains. GS3 paper, state government schemes. Okay. There is a similar scheme launched by the government of India, Jal Shakti Abhiyan. Okay. It's about water conservation 256. As we know, we are moving into an era of climate smart agriculture where water conservation is important. So water conservation is very, very important. So any scheme regarding water conservation, I need space to write something here. Okay. If you have any schemes regarding water, please study that. This is going to be very important. This is going to be a general norm across everything. Okay. With this, we'll be winding up this session of Prelims Haste UPSC 2020 Geography Class 1. IAS by Heart will be conducting this session for the next 100 days to help you out in effective preparation. I'm signing off for IAS by Heart. Thank you.